lost little boy wanders from place to place until he finally arrives at a large house. He knocks on the front door and cries out tearfully, "Is anyone home? Please open the door. I'm looking for someone. Is anybody there? Please open the door." A woman comes outside and says curiously, "Oh, sweetheart, who are you looking for? This is a private neighborhood. You shouldn't go around knocking on strangers' doors." The little boy says innocently, "I came here to find my dad." The woman says gently, "Sweetheart, your dad doesn't live here. I think you've come to the wrong place. My son has never even been married." The little boy says earnestly, "I even have a picture of my dad." The woman says curiously, "Really? Let me see it." The little boy takes the picture out of his pocket and hands it to her. As soon as the woman sees the picture, she gasps shockingly and says, "Oh my God, that's really a picture of my son." The woman immediately calls upstairs loudly, "David, come downstairs right now." David walks downstairs and says confusedly, "Mom, I haven't even gotten married yet. How could I possibly have a son?" The woman shows him the picture and says seriously, "Look at this picture first." David looks at the picture and says shockingly, "This is really my picture from 10 years ago." David asks the little boy gently, "Sweetheart, where did you get this picture?" The little boy says honestly, "My grandma gave it to me." David says softly, "Sweetheart, stop crying first. Take your time and tell me everything. This really is my picture, but how did you end up here?" The little boy says tiredly, "I came here by riding different buses. I came yesterday too, but I couldn't find you, so I had to spend the whole night outside." David says sympathetically, "Sweetheart, don't cry. Tell me everything slowly." The little boy says sadly, "As soon as it started getting light this morning, I came back out to look for you again. I knocked on so many doors, but everyone kept telling me that my dad didn't live here." David asks curiously, "Sweetheart, how did you get my address?" The little boy says honestly, "My grandma told me that my dad lives here." The little boy holds up the bag in his hand and says politely, "My grandma sent this for you." David says surprisedly, "She sent this for me? Come inside first, sweetheart. We'll talk inside." David says kindly, "Mom, please bring him a glass of water." The grandmother says gently, "I'll be right back." The little boy says tearfully, "You really are my dad. My grandma has been showing me your picture ever since I was little. Your name is David, and my name is David, baby." David asks gently, "Then why didn't you come here with your grandma?" The little boy says sadly, "My grandma is very sick now. She can't take care of me anymore. She told me to find my dad. You're the only family I have left in this world." The little boy takes out a letter and says carefully, "My grandma wrote this letter for you. Once you read it, you'll know the whole truth." David asks curiously, "Sweetheart, don't you go to school?" The little boy lowers his head and says quietly, "No. The kids at school used to call me the boy without a father. They made fun of me every single day." David gently places his hand on the little boy's head and says comfortingly, "Sweetheart, don't be sad anymore." David turns to his mother and says kindly, "Mom, please bring him something to eat too." The grandmother says warmly, "I'll bring it right away." David slowly opens the letter and begins reading it. "David, by the time you read this letter, our 7-year-old son, baby, will be standing before you. He is the child born from the love you and Sophia once shared. You and Sophia truly loved each other, but your families separated you because of your different financial backgrounds. They deceived both of you, making each of you believe the other had moved on. What you never knew was that Sophia was pregnant when you were separated. She endured every hardship alone and gave birth to your son. After baby was born, her health declined, so she tearfully left him in my care. She never blamed you and always believed you were a victim of circumstances. When baby was only 1 year old, Sophia was involved in a terrible accident that caused her to lose all her memories, including you and her own son. She wandered alone for years, while baby grew up without the love of his parents. Now I'm too old and sick to care for him any longer. After years of searching, we finally found you. Please accept your son, leave the pain of the past behind, and give him the love and family he's been waiting for all his life." David finishes reading the letter and begins crying uncontrollably. He slowly walks toward the little boy, pulls him tightly into his arms, and holds him close to his chest. David says tearfully, "Son?" Baby looks at him surprisedly and says, "Why did you call me your son?" David gently wipes away the little boy's tears and says emotionally, "Because I really am your father." David calls out to his mother and says gently, "Mom, please help him change into some clean clothes right away." The grandmother says warmly, "That's enough crying now. Come on, sweetheart, let's get you cleaned up first. Then we'll all sit down together and enjoy a nice meal as a family." While baby goes to change into clean clothes, David picks up the bag that grandma sent and slowly opens it. Inside, he finds homemade vermicelli, carefully packed homemade food, and a few simple daily necessities. Every item has been neatly wrapped with love and care. As David looks at everything silently, he realizes that grandma prepared each item with her own hands, hoping that one day he would receive them. David says tearfully, "Grandma, thank you for raising my son when I wasn't there. You sacrificed everything for him while I didn't even know he existed. I'll never be able to repay your kindness." David nods emotionally and says, "Mom, I'm going to bring grandma here. She's old and sick. She shouldn't have to live alone anymore. From now on, we'll take care of her together."